welcome to Elementis Way, the podcast where we explore all about longevity. Uh, and my name is Prem Sangeet.
Mika from Elementis. I'm the corporate marketing officer.
And I'm Dr. Mika, also known as Michel Kathy Nielsen.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Such an honor to have you here on our podcast, Dr. Mika. You had a fantastic career. You went through the a medicine journey, running clinics, working on university, teaching about women's hormones, being the best-selling author with your amazing book, Manifesting Matisse. You did so many things, and yet you kept finding early in the day, you were one of the pioneers to bring the holistic approach to functional medicine and exploring these things. So please tell us more about you and about your journey, how you came to be to see these obstacles in the how they say treating disease to actually making your patients thrive.
Well, yeah, I think I was just one of those fortunate people where, your life's purpose comes and hits you like a lightning bolt. So when I was 13, I was convinced I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. I decided I wanted to be a doctor. And one day I was in the library reading the Encyclopedia Britannica. And
What a book. Wow.
well, yes, this is dating me. Okay, so I mean, this is before Google, and I read a small little snippet about the difference between vitalistic medicine and mechanistic medicine. So mechanistic medicine, we could say, is more the Western approach, which has its place. And vitalistic medicine, I think we can group as what we call holistic today. So when you see these philosophies that are very old and traditional, Ayurvedic, Chinese medicine, naturopathy, chiropractic, it talked about how that health comes from within, and that in order to help somebody achieve or to get to health, that the wisest doctor is the internal doctor, the innate intelligence, the doctor within, and that restoring someone's health was about balancing them, getting them back into balance, homeostasis, through healing body, mind, and spirit, and then allowing the body to heal itself. And I thought that makes much more sense to me. So I decided to pursue that path in everything I did. And, I had a lot of training in, traditional scientific methods. And, my training was very, very scientific, a lot of Western approach. But my philosophy maintained. And then in my career, I looked at everything from that vitalistic approach. So
That's beautifully said. Beautifully said. Innate intelligence with finding that balance. But what was that very turning point in your life? You explained something in your book, Manifesting Matisse, about this transformative journey you went through with your son and his health. Can you maybe share a story or two about that journey?
Yes. Okay. Well,
It's very personal.
yes.
I know.
Okay. I will try to be brief about that. And actually, that's a really good point because I think the importance of looking for an integrative approach because, extremism in any sense is not healthy. And I think we're seeing that right now in the world, in the United States. And
100%.
yeah, and even being like too extreme in anything, there's a saying that the universe in a way will come and kick your butt and bring you back into balance. And so that's basically what happened to me. Even though I wanted everything like beautiful and natural, I was planning on having, a home birth with my son and doing everything in the natural way. And unfortunately, I had a very huge problem with pregnancy. So at 6 months of pregnancy, instead of the normal 9.5 gestation, I started to hemorrhage and bleed. And this is where, Western medicine came in and basically saved my life.
Mhm.
And I was told, went for an ambulance, hospital, et cetera, et cetera. And next thing you know, I was speaking to some doctors, and they were like, we're going to end this pregnancy now, or you are going to die, and you're probably going to have to give birth to a dead fetus. And I was like, no, 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 this is not happening. I'm going to have a natural home birth, da, 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 and that wasn't happening. So anyways, luckily, they managed to save my life, obviously, and to save my baby's life. But having said that, he wasn't much of a baby. He was more like a fetus. So, little Matisse came into this world, and he was, just over 1 pound, sort of like fits in your hand, 450 grams, something like that, and lived in an incubator. And so, I have to say, I got a big appreciation. I think what Western medicine does very well is emergencies and also, the diagnostic equipment. So, much more balanced approach, I have to say. And anyways, I was told by the doctors at that time that my boy would probably, if he survived, that he would probably be deaf, mute, or have cerebral palsy. Luckily, those things never happened. When he was 6 years old, he still was not speaking. And I was very concerned. And I had to do many different tests with the school, with the government, to place him in a school. And I was told that, that he was had issues, brain issues, and that he would never go to normal school. And I was like, no, 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 no. This is, you wake up sometimes and you think, no, this is a dream, or like, this is like, I took the wrong door. Like, this is not happening. And so I turned to spirituality, and I did a lot of meditating, a lot of visualizing, along with all of the practical, medical and health related things and therapies. And eventually I managed to get him into a normal school where they accepted special needs children. So anyways, I continued with the approach of the physical health and the holistic, and did a lot of meditating and visualizing and manifesting. And I'm happy to report that last week I went to the United Kingdom and
Beautiful.
to celebrate my son graduating from university.
Congratulations. He looks healthy and happy.
Amazing.
Not only did he graduate from university, but now he's going to Berlin to get a second degree in technology. So anything is
Possible.
Miracles happen. So I feel it was a combination of many of the philosophies over the years, in including bringing in some of the more spiritual and quantum way of thinking of creating your own reality and carving your own path.
Thank you so much for sharing, Michel.
Incredible, incredible. Yeah, thank you for sharing this. It's very personal. And it reminds me a little bit of a story of a good friend of mine from Australia. His son had a severe motorcycle accident here, and ended up in a ditch with a brain trauma, and ended up 3 weeks being in a coma. And the doctors also said there's nothing we can do. And it reminds me a little bit your spirit, and you're fighting back against, you don't want to accept this what the doctor's telling you, right? And he then luckily discovered a plan that was based on very simple principles, and that consists of good food, the right food, and the right nutrition. So he talked to the doctors in charge and said, "This is my son, give me the chance to save him." And they agreed, and he executed then his protocol from that, what he's so convinced that it would work. And after, I don't know exactly how long it took, but he brought him back to life. So he ended the coma. And now his son also is studying in USA,
Wow.
97% recovered.
That's a wonderful story.
And the simplicity, it's the most incredible part in that, because he figured out the first thing, what he figured out is that his son chronically dehydrated, and he gave him the right water at the right time. And then he adjusted his nutrition in the same way, and that's it.
Wow.
That's the only thing he did. And it is an incredible story from another person. What you just refuse to accept what the conventional traditional medicine is telling you, right? Here at that place where we're sitting right now, we want to connect those people, right? This is not only about being, let's say, the retreat of the future, like in this incredible building technology where we're sitting right in without air conditioning.
It's incredible.
And our water, what we have. But we're thinking we are on a mission to bring the right people together. Bali is the right place to do that, right? So we will invite people from all over the world. That they have the possibility to exchange their knowledge, share their experiences, and what is for me very interesting to see. The internet is now full of personal stories where people were on a journey. They refused to accept doctor's diagnosis, right? And then they figured out themselves. But it took them sometimes 10 or 15 years, right, to come to that point where they said, hey, this work, they want to share their knowledge, and this is working for me. Maybe it's also working for you, right? And here at that place, people can have the shortcut.
Yeah,
right?
thank God.
This is
because you were saying before about being a pioneer, and I mean, I have to say, it's like, oh yay, pat on the back, but it is flipping hard, and it's very lonely being a pioneer, and so much hard work.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if someone can give you the shortcut and they come here, it's like, oh my God, you mean you're going to save me like 10 years of trial and tribulation and disappointment and hope and lost money and, this is a leadership center. Like, I feel like, I was very lucky how I ended up here. It's sort of a divine coincidence. But I feel like I've created this healing center in my mind many times, and to know it exists is very nice. And I think one thing that's I think that's really important about the center. Because another part of my story, after being, a doctor and treating patients for many, many years, unfortunately, I got another reluctant education in health and restoring health, because after I sold my practices, so after 30 years of being practiced, I got Lyme disease myself.
Oh my gosh.
So,
That's the ticks, right?
It is a tick, but I think it's Lyme disease is kind of like this group of chronic illness, which is a huge problem in Western society because of many factors. I mean, we are not living natural life anymore. The food chain is a mess. The water is polluted,
It's a combination of all these things. And also what I learned is if you get bitten by a tick, it induces some toxins in the body that activates the epigenetics. They're basically predominated in the DNA, what they call methylation DNA test. When we do this, one of these genes has mutation, so it becomes such a chronic inflammation, and none of the doctors have their cure for it. So I'm very curious about, what's your experience with the Lyme, because you've been practicing in clinics and running your own clinics before you exited for 20 years or so, and you've seen so many patients. But what was your specific kind of turnover? You spoke a lot about the water and about the clean environment, about the mold, about all these aspects that help you and your daughter as well, right? About going through this Lyme journey.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it was a reluctant education in health, because then I spent 3 years, and thousands of dollars in going around the world and discovering different treatments, and I learned about many new and innovative treatments and everything. But also the other thing that happens with Lyme is that, so because your body is busy fighting the Lyme, and it lowers the immune system, so then the parasites come, the mold comes, and the things that normally our body could fight off.
Yeah.
And I think a lot more people have Lyme than they realize, because it is the great mimic. So many people who have, like, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, later on they find out that they actually
An
have,
underlying issue is actually the
yeah.
sitting Lyme disease that's just like waiting for the right
Lyme-treated.
moment
Yeah.
to get in, right?
So yeah, I learned many things and did many different treatments, and the sort of the combination eventually worked for me. And I went to different centers around the world. I went to one in Germany, I went to Mexico, that were quite good, like integrative approach. None of them had the actual solution, but one thing that I think is quite nice here is that it includes the toxic-free accommodation. So, with many of the other, this is the first time I've ever seen everything all in one place, that you could, like, I'd like to bring my daughter here because I have confidence that she could, live in this villa with the amazing technology that is mold-free and toxin-free, and also get the, the integrative approach.
Yeah, we have these diagnostic tools, right? So what really can we working with partners together. They are doing this already since 30 years, right? With an accuracy of, let's say, 95% when they're doing their diagnosis, right? And it's based on bioresonance and dark field microscopy. This combination.
Yeah, and then you can see what's really going on.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, microscopy is, maybe for those who don't know, it's basically a live blood picture where we can see how our white blood cells are fighting any kind of black crystals or not. What's the movement of our red blood cells? And you can see parasites. You can see a
Yeah, I
whole
mean,
lot of
I
things.
had it
It's like an
done.
action movie there,
I
huh?
can show you. It's pretty creepy. I mean, I had that done, and you can see. I mean, you can see the bad guys like moving and going in for attack on the red blood cells. You can see the mold.
But you can also see white blood cells, which is really important. That brings us to hydrogen,
Oh,
as
yes.
structure
Okay.
hydrogen infused water, which is really supportive, especially if you combine it with things like HOCl, right? Which is something that's produced by our white blood cells.
Yes.
This is like a immune army
Exactly.
that fights all these mycotoxins that comes from mold.
Yeah,
or
I mean, I
parasites.
feel a lot better. So
You too.
I've been only 3 days on the water, so it's the two waters, right? So
the
I think
combination,
you
yeah.
gave me the HOCl, which
Yeah.
is the blue one,
This is this one, yeah.
and then the hydrogen. So I was when I arrived, so I just want to say, back to the Lyme thing, like, I feel like I'm like 90% recovered, which is very big in the Lyme
Wow.
world.
Congratulations.
So that was a huge experience for me. But anyways, when I arrived in Bali, I had I was jet lagged, but I got like belly belly. Yeah, so I was kind of like a little woozy when I came here, and we were with our friends, and I was trying to have a smile, and we did the beautiful banya, and then you generously gave me this water. So I've been on it for 3 days, and yeah, I mean, I feel much better, and I noticed a lot more energy, like even before the belly, you know what I mean? Like, just like, and a lot more brain clarity. And ever since the Lyme gets into your nervous system, and it created for me, I mean, also because it's been a very difficult time going through this with my daughter, but it brings a lot of anxiety and depression.
Which doesn't help the immune system and anything else.
No,
Well,
and
this is
so
what you
the
call invisible toxins, right? The intentionality, the oxidative stress, the things that actually removes the immunity from our bodies.
yeah, it's not fun. But I've been drinking the water, doing the protocol as you suggested, and I think it was yesterday I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I'm in a good mood. And I was like, I don't remember the last time I actually woke up in a good mood, because since I've had Lyme, I've had a big mental battle with the demons and the anxiety and the depression. So it's, very embarrassing to say, feel vulnerable saying that, but I know that, mental health there's kind of a stigma around that, and it's not a nice thing to have, but so I know the water is doing something. The first day I felt a little detoxy, right? But I think I was just getting rid of things, and I was doing some yoga, going to the yoga classes, and but yeah, I definitely feel much bigger mental clarity, and like I said, that feeling of waking up and being in a good mood and excited about the day, rather than battling the anxiety and depression demons.
Yeah. I mean, the secret of structured water is basically that what sets us very much apart from any other waters is that your body, why we are sitting here, we are structured water, right? Because our body needs to convert the normal water, what we usually drink, getting rid of the impurities inside, right? So, which is a lot in conventional, or when you go to the supermarket, buy the drinking water, especially in plastic bottles, etc. Our body has to deal with that first, right? And then converts it into structured water. That means, as a consequence, if you drink structured water, you don't have to spend so much energy and this is also one reason why you feel more awake, you need less sleep, you feel more energetic. But what's very amazing after that short time, usually you have to be open and receiving for this experience, right? When you're already having, for instance, having an unhealthy lifestyle, you will not see those effects after that short time, right? And so you would probably even thinking, oh, it's not working, or it takes a while, right? When it kicks in only after that short time, that means you're basically in a very good health condition, because otherwise you wouldn't feel this right away.
Yeah.
Only when you have a healthy lifestyle, you
does.
see the benefits even more
It does
faster. Right?
brings us back to that balance that you mentioned. We can clear
Maybe
the
you
way,
can just
right?
explain a little bit, because even for me, just very, very brief of the science behind the HOCl and the structured hydrogen water.
So hydrogen is interesting compound. It's known to be a great antioxidant. So it goes and repairs our damaged cells. So damaged cells can convert into a cancer. It's just the clutter in the body, right? And what it does also, it's the only thing that connects our DNA to the cells using RNA, which is the way how cells communicate with our genes. So it's kind of this essence thing that is just lives in our body, right? But when you
I mean, just free radicals. The most dangerous one, or most critical one, is OH, right? It's a free radical. When we create ATP, it will be produced automatically, right, as a side product, or because we breathe, right? Also, right? This is called oxidative stress. So we have free radicals in our bodies, and it's OH. And when you add one hydrogen, molecular hydrogen atom to the OH, it will be converted into H2O. Right. So it will bind the free radicals in your body.
Okay.
That is what the hydrogen does, right? And then
and that's the hydrogen part. What about the HOCl part?
So the thing with the HOCl is it really supports it upgrades the whole story about the hydrogen, because as we age, our ability to recover and to regenerate, it becomes slower and slower, especially if there is a lot of inflammation, right? So what our blood cells do in the blood, they produce HOCl, which is this hypochloric acid that basically comes and fight all the free radicals.
Okay.
Antioxidants as hydrogen, it's amazing to get the free radicals that are basically these things that we don't need in our body, that are just like parasites feeding off us and then really destroying our immune system. And so what it does, it goes and targets, communicates with hydrogen whatever it needs to heal. It would signal the HOCl and say, go there and heal that, or go there and repair that. It's kind of a little factory, little guys that are just coming into our body, to explain it really briefly, and just repairs whatever body needs to repair, because body knows how to self-heal, but we get to support our system in order to regenerate.
Just let me to give you an example. When we are children, we are most of the time very healthy, so we produce a lot of HOCl.
Okay.
That is the reason why when we fall from the bike, our wounds are healing very fast.
Yeah, and now you sprain your ankle and it's like weeks.
Yeah, right. And as an extreme example, when you have diabetes 2, for instance, you stop producing HOCl, which is the reason why wounds of diabetes patients don't heal at all, right? And they use it usually as a disinfectant to treat the wounds, right? But it's fighting symptoms, right? And not fighting the root cause. Yeah? And what HOCl, we just replenish HOCl, and it will be this is like the immune system on steroids, right? So everything becomes very active. It's like a wake-up call for them, which is, it's a known substance for your body, right? But it's like the immune system is in hibernation mode, right? And then you give it that substance, and that is like a wake-up call. And then you say, as you said, right before, taking care of this, fighting bacteria, pathogens, repair cell tissue, this kind of stuff.
The water with other approaches, correct?
I believe it's water is one of the most important elements, right? But everything you said, like you did some yoga, you still have to do your mindsets. You still have to meditate. So taking this water intentionally is really what makes the difference. Is coming back to that balance that you were saying about, when you were pioneering actually back in 90s, is that it has to be intentionally taken. It has to be combined with other wellness activities, like here at Elementis, there are plenty of detoxification, and it's just a journey, right? How we can detox first with the normal Chiara water. You said when you had the belly, the hydrogen binds. It's also like a binder to the toxins that we can then flush and release. And then when you take on Chiara Blue, which is more enhanced with HOCl, then we can really feel the benefits of our white blood cells going there where it needs to go, and we just feel energized. You wake up happy. And these are not any medical claims, by the way. I have to say this disclaimer. This is purely based on how we feel. There are biomarkers, as you mentioned. Very good thing about the traditional medicine approach is one of which is diagnostics. Another one is
emergency. And the diagnostics are getting better and better all the time.
Especially used with technology, with the AI, with hyper-personalization. So this is what is really possible to really
and
understand.
I have to say the right doctor too.
Exactly.
Because
communication to this approach is important.
Like there's they have to order the right test, and they have to be thinking integratively, and like I said, there's not very many, not to be obsessing about the Lyme thing, but that is, it's basically a bit of an umbrella for chronic illness. Many doctors don't even ask for the right testing to test. So you have to find a doctor who's, thinking holistically and globally. But yeah, there are some incredible diagnostics.
Yeah. Yeah, we're working with some of them together.
Yeah.
Right? So otherwise we wouldn't be so confident to
Yeah.
say that it's working, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need the
Absolutely.
science to see how things are progressing and, measurable measuring tools.
Yeah, and sometimes in your journey, you mentioned that that once you measured it, it gave your kind of self-confidence, that subconscious mind more forced to kind of have belief, to get up, to drive, right?
Yeah.
It gave you more optimistic approach to.
Well, two things. Like, first of all, when I did the black scope microscopy, I hope I'm saying that correctly. That was, it was absolutely like disgusting to see what my blood looked like. It was like, okay, here's some parasites, here's some,
Mhm.
feces floating in your blood from the leaky gut. And it was just like,
Mhm.
here's the mold. So on the one level, it was actually validating because it was awful to see it, but in the same moment, it's like, okay, so I'm not going crazy. All these things that I'm feeling, and it was like a zombie. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
there's a real. And then the second thing was the motivation. Because it's one thing for your doctor to say, okay, well, you should give up sugar, or, you should not drink alcohol. But when you're looking at that, you're like, okay, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. And then the third thing is having knowing that your efforts are working, because it was a big effort, big journey healing
Yeah.
from Lyme. And, I did a lot of
It
very,
takes
very
a while,
extreme
right?
things.
Yeah.
And then to be able to measure and see, the blood after in the test and see it clean and healthy is like, that's very important. And that image also, sets in your mind that, okay, what I did work, I can heal myself, the body can heal from, this disease that millions of people are not healing from in today's modern world.
Sure, feel like that loop of intrinsic motivation drives it back, especially the story that you share with your son Manis, where all the doctors lost hope and they told, you're gonna die, he's not gonna, well, and then eventually, he just graduated from high university. So that's what I really love about your work, and I admire where you share this in invisible toxins, how bad they could be, and how implementing connection between mind, body, and
Yes.
soul and spirit
Yeah,
is
exactly.
so intrinsically motivating
Yeah.
to help us go
Well,
through
the
it.
power of the mind, right? I don't even think we can say it's woo-woo, because, a lot of medical pharmaceutical testings, they factor in a
The
placebo
placebo effect,
effect.
of course.
Mhm.
And so may I tell my placebo story?
Please.
Okay.
We love placebo stories.
Okay. Well, I also used to work for many years. I don't know if you've ever heard of, I worked with Dr. Joe Dispenza for many years.
We love those.
Yeah. So, anyways, as you know, he has a book called The Placebo Effect. So I had just read this book. So one of the issues my son was having, so he was probably he was in like grade 6, 7, and he was passing out at school. So I'd get a call and said, your son is in the emergency room. And I'd be like, what? And they'd had an ambulance, took my son to the hospital, and there was something wrong with his heart. And they did these like EKGs, and it took a while to figure out what was going on. And these episodes continued to happen to the point where the school said, I'm sorry, but until you figure this out, we can't have your son in school, because it's too stressful for us,
Mhm.
these calling an ambulance. And we were stressed and everything. And the episodes were getting, more frequent, once a week. And so I have to say, Matisse, close your ears, okay? Because he doesn't know this. So anyways, so finally they came up with a diagnosis at the hospital, and so we were going to have this surgery. So he did all the pre-surgery. He goes downstairs. I accompany him to the surgical room. So he's off in the surgery. I'm waiting in the room. 3-4 hours go by. I pick him up. He's very sick, has all this reaction from the anesthesia, and it was very dramatic. And then the head of the hospital, the surgeon and the cardiologist asked to see me privately. So they take me to this room and they said, you know, I'm very sorry to tell you good news and bad news, but, you know, we started the surgery on your son and we realized that the diagnosis was wrong.
Wow.
And what we thought we were going to fix was fine. So, you know, we stopped the surgery or whatever. And I was just like, you just put my son through hell for nothing, you know, like, you know, the anesthetic, the stress and everything. And I was like, you know, quite furious. And then I remembered, because I had just finished reading this book. And I said, you know what you guys are going to do? I said, all of you from medical school have learned about the placebo effect and the power of the mind. And I said, each of you are going to take a moment during the day. I said, you're going to walk into that room. You're going to look my son in the eye and you're going to say, the surgery was a success. We fixed the problem and it will never happen again. And they were like, that's a bit strange or whatever. And they talked amongst themselves and they said, okay. And that's what they did. And it's been 9 years and my son has never had that episode again. And we've been back to the hospital and his EKGs are normal.
The power of placebo.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is something to be said, you know, our mind, you know, has incredible control over the body. And I don't want to give anybody false hope and I don't want to be woo woo, but it is a piece of the puzzle, you know, and as you know, our thoughts, our thoughts actually create chemistry in our body. And that's either healing chemistry or disease chemistry, right?
And psychosomatic health.
Psychosomatic.
What we think, what Joe beautifully explains, and what he actually measures. He uses neurofeedbacks and then biomarkers as brain images. And he just feels like woo-woo, but it's all scientifically backed. And there's thousands of people just going out, throwing their wheelchairs on the stage.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying
fantastic.
to throw away your medicine and throw away your protocols, but, you know, if you're doing all these things and, you know, the holistic approach and natural approach and, you know, and your mind is like, you know, toxic and you don't believe it and you're negative and getting angry and everything, you know, chances are you're not going to heal as fast or heal at all.
So you're talking about this balance between mind, body, and spirit. It's the importance of placebo and just being in our inherited balance. If you go into extreme, universe is gonna kick you back, right? So important to do that. Thank you so much for sharing this amazing story. Wow.
Yeah. We truly believe, we call it also, let's say, high frequency living, right? So if you raise your frequency into something positive, stay positive, be optimistic, right? I strongly believe that prevents you for getting sick so easy, right? So it's like a natural protective shield what you create, which is
well, and I think
surrounds
it's in a, you know, everything is frequency in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything emits frequency.
Yeah.
And so, you know, not just in the health level, but I think what you attract towards you, you know, in your life, because like attracts like.
Yeah, when you're negative, then you attract negativity, right? When you're positive.
And I think we've all experienced that. Like when you're, you know, negative and you get yourself into that dark rabbit hole, it's very easy to keep going down and misery loves company. And, you know, the same thing.
Misery loves company.
I mean, there's a reason why these phrases have lasted centuries, right? And
that vicious cycle, and you
but you can also bring that cycle upwards.
Psychosomatic approach to it.
Because
you spoke about limiting beliefs and vicious cycles where, you know, once you go down, the misery likes company. So there's also another way to do it, but it requires a lot of accountability, a lot of practice. So what sort of things you found useful?
Okay, I think, you know, do you remember when it was really in fashion, you know, The Secret, you know, the law of attraction, right?
Law of attraction.
So, I mean, The problem is I think a lot of people think, oh, okay, I just write my letter to the universe, meditate, the check
I
arrives in
wrote
the
a
mail.
check on the
You
10
know,
million. Yeah,
okay,
classic.
it doesn't work like that. But there's a practical portion, just like there is with when you're manifesting anything. So, if you're manifesting health or manifesting the perfect business, I mean, you still have to work your butt off. Like you still do the practical, right?
Of course.
And then there is the the planning, right? And I think even just clarity, like just knowing like what the mission is and what the goal is. And then the last piece of it, which is I feel like where you can put your goals or your dreams or your health on on steroids, on the fast path like we talked about, is this the mental part of it. And when you really can see it and believe it, and there's different tools you can use, like just even writing out, like they've done studies, like writing clearly your goals, you're seeing it, creating images about what that future looks like.
Visualization techniques, right? Writing
Visualization,
on a piece of
Olympic
paper. Yeah.
athletes use visualization. And another really important part is feeling it. So putting yourself in the emotional state.
How does it feel to
as if
be
it's
in?
actually happening right now. And that emotion is it's like the thinking it and believing it is sort of putting the idea out there in the quantum field. And then the feeling it is what attracts it to you, like the magnetic attraction. And that can be incredibly difficult because this monkey mind is pretty powerful. So if you're in like humdrums or broke and poor, and you're like, okay, I'm supposed to be feeling abundance, it's a lot of work. But if you can get yourself into that those feelings of actually having it, that's the magnetic energy that attracts it. So it's all of those things.
Yeah, and as long as you keep yourself in a clean environment, toxic-free, mold-free environment, drink and good
because
clean
you don't want
water,
to be
right?
doing all that work up here and then being bombarded by all the toxins and bad frequencies from the exterior. Yeah, so the pure environment is very important. Like these villas are they're beautiful. Can you explain to me a little bit about the glass and how the glass is incorporated into the wellness concept?
Maybe Michael can tell us more about
Yeah,
UV and
I hope I'm not a builder. I'm only the poor hospitality guy, right? But what I understood, so it's a double layered glass which keeps the heat outside and cool inside. So like we know that from not so much from Indonesia, but of course from Western countries, we're used to build with double layered glass, right? So we have two times 8 millimeter with an argon layer in between. So which reflects 70% of the sunlight.
Right.
So and it's also what's very interesting. It's directly inserted into the wooden frame, so you don't need an aluminium frame.
And also super important is the air conditioning, that mold free, because I mean, I understand how important this is because I just spent like 20,000 euros redoing our whole air conditioning to, unfortunately, it's the old version, put in air purification, this and that to make my daughter's air safe. And this technology is, much better. But
Yeah,
can you explain to me a little bit? Because I think that's
yeah. Behind this wall, it's are 2 tons of frozen ice, right? And we have solar panels on the roof. So and we use also structured water, not hydrogen water, but structured water because of no impurities inside, right? So the whole engine will or the whole system will run more smoothly for a longer time. So less maintenance. And we freeze the water then and store it into the ice wall. And the cold air will be then gradually released into the living space during the day. So we use solar panel of solar power,
beautiful. So it's self-sustaining.
self-sustained.
And how does it ensure that there's no mold and toxins in the air?
Because you don't have this, I hope I got it completely right, but you don't have that conventional, where you have the inventor outside, and then you blow the air inside. So it's a different system. Honestly, I cannot precisely answer that, but
I'm very passionate about this topic
I've
because
yeah,
I
maybe
have a musical background and I love musical instruments. And this specific wood is used for musical instruments, so they're sustained for thousands of years, and they're the combination of this wood and how it's structured. It cannot. It's, I think, one of the rarest species of materials that doesn't. It cannot contain mold inside. So idea of having structured water that's ever circulating in the mold-free environment, toxin-free environment. There's nothing for the mold to bind, and there's nothing impurities in the water to do that. And
Also, I think it's important to know too, when we're talking about mold and mold issues,
yes,
we're not talking about mold you can see, because like I live between New York and Barcelona. In New York, they understand mold and they come with testing and send it to a lab. In many countries in the world, they come, they look around. No, I don't see any mold, and they're gone. But so I went on my own and bought like petri dishes and grew, and I was like, it was pretty disgusting to see the mold issue that had happened because of a problem in our Barcelona home. But yeah, mold is a huge issue. A lot of people who are sick and can't figure it out, it's because they are living in a toxic, moldy environment.
Yeah, and you said Barcelona
and
or
it's not
Bali,
about seeing the molds. It's like a lot of it is almost it's invisible.
Invisible to the human eye.
Yeah.
And you said Barcelona and Bali; these are all like beautiful location, exotic, humid, which a lot of humidity forms around there. It finds the materials that can grow mold. And I believe that one thing to add to the glass as well is very important, that this equation of how mold gets structured in these materials is that glass prevents part of these UV lights that can be very toxic as well. So it doesn't contain the temperature and environment for mold to grow.
So what I can say is basically we're sitting in a sealed container. Right now we have all the doors open, of course, right? But it is a sealed container. So we keep the doors closed and the humidity very low. The humidity usually inside the building is 65%. So instead of having this 90% outside.
90%.
Yeah.
So, and you're right. I mean, the surfaces, we are using natural materials, like the wood, for instance, and the wood is also manufactured that way that it doesn't contain any nutrition. It's basically also for animals. So there's nothing inside what can grow anything alive, let's say like this, right?
Is this technology, the wood, the glass, the air, is that available to worldwide, or is this kind of new and exclusive here?
This glue laminated timber, how we call it. It's a technology. We're working together with our partner, the only partner in Indonesia, the only company in Indonesia who's able to produce this kind of level of quality, what we expect to build the villas. So they're producing the beams, and the whole house will be then assembled like a big Lego system here on site, right? That is one thing. It's not a new technology. When you have a look, glue laminated timber or cross laminated timber, you can build skyscrapers with this technology, right? So, and I think a few of them are North America because they also have the sources with timber, right? And also in Europe. So our partner learned his stuff in Europe, in Germany and in Switzerland. And so it's not in tropical climates. Yes, this is very uncommon to build with technology like this, right?
But this is what I really love. Sorry to interrupt. What I really love about this place is really breeds that essence of having a healthy environment as a kind of case study of what can be possible before it scales around the world.
Yeah, I think it's great because, like I said, I did go to healing centers
Yes.
with the Lyme, and then it was like an issue because we would check into like a nice Airbnb. There's mold, we had to change,
Mm-hmm.
and so they didn't
It's
provide the
yes.
toxic-free accommodation. So to have it all in one place is a luxury.
It's really
Yeah.
an essence, right?
Yeah.
And health is a luxury these days, I feel. So the hot stone here in Ubud by Elementis, I feel it's one of those very unique places in the world where you can come and experience every level on a multisensory level. It's really fully supporting your healing process, your thriving process. So we can then get the evidence from the people like yourself that this actually works, and then scale it around the world, which is, I believe, the idea of Elementis, that it can be available to other people in other countries apart from Bali.
Yeah, the cooling system and the wood, this combination doesn't exist anywhere in the world. So you're sitting right literally in the first building using this technology. So what makes it very very special. And also we say we don't sell real estate, or we don't sell bed and breakfast or accommodation. We sell longevity, right? And sustainability, right? Because it comes together,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think we are one of the few places in the world, I would even say, which are very serious end-to-end sustainable thinking, right? For us, it's not a marketing term. For us, it's part of our culture, right? So we don't even have to adapt ourselves to be more sustainable, to attract more people to come here, which are looking for spaces like that. We are already there. We don't even have to do something, right? We only need to optimize it. And this is exactly what we are up to in the future, right? So very personalized, deeply transformative experiences. Testing data, it's all about data gathering
Evidence-based
before,
approach, right?
Conversation like this, all get data gathering, right? We know already a lot about each other.
How long would you say is a typical ideal stay for somebody to come and have the programming?
We say, it's a good question. Thank you for this. We say minimum stay 7 days to have this that kicks starts something, right? So lifestyle changing experience, something like that, because we really expect, we want people to come here. Let them have a look here. This is you before you came, and this is you when you leave the hot stone, right? And say, wow, what happened, right? So this is the experience we want to give people. And I think even more important for us is that we give them also the support when they are back in their countries. So it's already between us. We don't even have to sign anything. That is just our commitment to you. Experience it already. We are willing to help. We are giving people the support because what we want to achieve is to make people more healthy, right? That it triggers something, that they say, okay, there are people out there, they support me. We call it personal health concierge service. So people can ring us basically 24 hours and they will get an answer. So myself, also give you an example, I'm also a member of the World Council for Health Asia. So it's all about functional medicine, basically, right? And if we don't know the solution, we can always also ask, in our network, do you know somebody or whom you trust who can be refer? And this is nothing to do with conventional medicine, right? That's the Elementis philosophy.
Yeah, and education and empowering people and
it's so inspiring to have you here as a guest.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
And so grateful for you to share all the stories with listeners or Longevity Club Elementis. And we look forward to welcoming you back soon again.
Okay. Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been
such an honor.
It was a wonderful experience to come here as a visitor a few days back and to experience you know, the power of the water and everything, and to come back and have a nice conversation with the two of you.
Yeah, and then lastly, do you maybe have anything to share, or where can people find you? I know your website drwika.com is quite popular. It has a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Dr. Mika.
Dr. Mika.
Yeah, M-I-K-A.
M-I-K-A.
Is short for Michel, Kathy. Well, I guess just on to finish up, I guess you know, it's like no matter what challenge you're going through, you know, like Winston Churchill, you know, never surrender, never give up. And, you know, for any challenge that you're going through, either a health challenge, a personal challenge, you know, emotional crisis, you know, there's always an example of somebody ahead of you that has overcome that. So find the mentors, find the shortcuts, like coming here, you know, don't go at it yourself, bushwhacking, and, you know, never give up.
Yeah. Cannot agree more. Very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Great
Thank
honor
you
to
so
have you here.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and follow Elementis. This has been amazing to have Dr. Mika with us on Elementis Way. Stay tuned, stay healthy.
Thank you.
Bye.